Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. How are you? You say, how are you, Rabbi? I'm watching you on YouTube or StreamSpot. No, you can type in and let us know. We're coming to you live from our incredible Sunrise Sanctuary. My name is Rabbi Jesse Mordechai Charon, and I am with
Shira Charon, and we are also joined with our streaming specialist, President Judy Kern, and our streaming specialist, Denise Whitlock, and also our girls.
They're here. Now, I know they're not facing you. Okay, maybe you could zoom in later, but then we got to turn them around. But we're coming to you live. Again, our president's with us, the streaming specialist both. So let us know. Wish us Shabbat Shalom. Today is the 15th of Adar, 5781, which correlates to
27th of February, 2021.
Wow. And you know what we say? In Yiddish, we say the ganze mishpacha. In Hebrew, we say the mishpacha gdola, a large family. So we say a large family, we celebrate all kinds of simchas. And what simchas do we have? Birthdays and anniversaries. Rebbitzin, what do we have this week?
Today is actually the anniversary of our Sunday school director, Janet Abbas, and past president of Temple Beth David, her husband, Barry Abbas. So happy anniversary, Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov!
Janet and Barry, wishing you many, many more years of love and great health and wonderful memories making. And then we also have several birthdays. Tomorrow we have the birthday of Judy Epstein. This upcoming week we have the birthdays of Lillian Zell, Jackie Fletcher Horowitz, and Felice Friedman. So we don't just say happy birthday, we sing it here. So we are going to sing it in Hebrew. And again, the word's really easy. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Repeat after us. Yom. Yom. Huledet. Huledet. Sameach. Are you ready on the count of three? Echat, shtayim, shalosh.
Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Yom Huledet Sameach. Happy birthday, happy anniversary. Again, we are a URJ affiliated congregation in Metro Atlanta. If you have not joined our congregation, our community, our holy family, please do so. Let us know where you're visiting from, how you found out about this incredible place. We use the Mishkan Tefillah. There is a link for the Mishkan Tefillah Siddur, a hyperlink. Please click on it. We're going to start our morning service on page 184 for an inspiration for prayer. Rebbitzin, can you lead us? We need this inspiration for prayer as we start to daven together, to pray together.
Each of us enters this sanctuary with a different need. Some hearts are full of peace and gratitude, overflowing with love and joy. They are eager to confront the day to make the world a better place. They are recovering from illness or have escaped misfortune. We rejoice with them. Some hearts ache with sorrow, disappointments weigh heavily on them. Families have been broken, loved ones lie on a bed of pain. Death has taken a cherished loved one. May our presence and caring bring them comfort. Some hearts are embittered, ideals are betrayed and mocked, answers sought in vain. Life has lost its meaning and value. May the knowledge that we too are searching restore our hope and renew our faith. And just a note, Rabbi and I are so honored to be back in this beautiful Sunrise Sanctuary. And we were traveling around for the last few weeks. Rabbi was working remotely. And it just it brings us such an extra sense of peace and closeness and connection being back here with our president and streaming specialist. And this building, although it's just a building, what Temple Beth David has been able to do in the last 40 years and what we're continuing to do, hopefully for the next 40 years, is really incredible. You
got to see the new website. It's, again, www.tbdga.org. It's new. Come and check us out. Again, to have gratitude for everything, just as the Rebbitzin saying, to travel around and where maybe you're traveling and wherever we're going. And we as Jewish people, this idea, b'nai, we say Passover that we're traveling, that we were free, b'nai chorin. And what does it mean to be free, but living in this idea of exile? But really, what we are home is with family, with friends, with loved ones, and with places. Because places are important that we can derive meaning from. To have gratitude each and every moment, each and every morning. And how do we do that?
We start out with Modeh Ani.
Modeh Ani, page 186. Just quickly, if you feel like there's some background noise, I think there's probably going to be a little background music. That's okay. I think that's Navitzaitel. Is that Navitzaitel?
That is Navitzaitel.
And Navitzaitel, what does that mean?
It means just a pleasant princess.
A pleasant princess. So that's what the music is. It's pleasant, it's beautiful, and it's of royalty. Page 186, Modeh Ani.
Modeh Ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shechazarta bi nishmati bechemla, rabba emunatecha, rabba emunatecha.
On the top of 188, the Psalm 133, Hine Matov. What is important? That we're all together. And here, we're never alone. Hine Matov.
Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achayot gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achayot gam yachad.
That we dwell together. And now we have our talitot with the arba kanfot, the four-cornered garment. Again, we're going to open it up. And, when you think about it, even last night, we do this Hashkivenu, beautiful song in our services. And when we think about even always in Judaism, one of the names of God has so many names. And here, one of the names of God is that God is this shelter of peace. And the rabbis actually talk about this garment. Here, I think this one's a little larger here. But this is like it's a wool shelter, so it's a little warm. But that's what it is. It's a shelter. So think about this. When you wrap yourself in your talitot, however it is, it should feel comfortable. You should feel warm. Physically, you should feel warm, comfortable, and also spiritually uplifted because God's presence is a little closer. So traditionally, you rise. We're going to say the blessing together. Please say the blessing with us. Again, it's lehitatef batzitzit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzit. Amen. And we rise, we put our talitot on. Now, some people put them on differently. They do like a over-the-head wrapping called atifa ishmaelim. If you have questions here, we have a streaming specialist. You can say, what's the rabbi talking about? Let us know. Type in and say, what's the rabbi doing? How does the rabbi put it on? What's he talking about? We're here to answer all of those questions. On page 192, Ma Tovu. Are we ready? I think we have the princess is going to come out and say hello to all of us. Navitzaitel is with us. Navitzaitel, are you ready for Ma Tovu? Let's sing together Ma Tovu. Are you ready, Ziva?
Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
And now on page 202, we have the Nisim B'chol Yom, the daily miracles. If you're in the rabbis, if you're in my B'nai Mitzvah class, some of you have sent me your incredible daily miracles. Thank you so much. I'm not going to share them today, but hopefully this month, or this coming month, the month in March, can you believe tomorrow's the last day of February?
It's incredible.
It's going to be March soon. You'll share the miracles with us, but think about daily miracles, things that you're happy for. Let us recite the miracles together on page 202. For being created in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shasani b'tzelem Elohim. For being a free person. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani ben chorin. For being a person that questions and seeks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael. For purpose. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. For harmony. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam ozer
Yisrael b'tifara. On page 204, the top of 204, the prayer for being busy with words of Torah. You know, it's interesting when we talk about being busy with words of Torah. I was in elementary school, and in elementary school we had an award, actually. And the award was a Walking Torah Award. And what does that mean? Is that Torah is everywhere. And when you think about Judaism also, it doesn't just exist. For sure, we're in a beautiful building in the Sunrise Sanctuary. But the thing is that we're not just Jewish in a building or for a specific time or for a holiday. It's a part of our identity, our very core. Let us now recite this blessing together, being busy with words of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lasok b'divrei Torah. And now we continue our service with, again, Psuke de Zimra. We have the top of 215 with Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yalucha Sela Ashrei Am Shekacha Lo Ashrei Am Shadonai Elohav. And now we're going to continue with the Yishtabach, which is on page 223. Traditionally, we rise. This is now the start of our Shacharit, our morning service. Yishtabach Shemcha Le'ad Malkeinu Ha'el HaMelech HaKadol VaHaKadosh B'Shamayim UVa'aretz Ki Lecha Na'eh Adonai Eloheinu V'Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Shir Ushvacha Halel V'Zimra Oza Memshala Netzach Gedula Gevura Tehila V'Tiferet Kedusha U'Malchut Brachot V'Hodaot Me'ata V'Ad Olam Baruch atah Adonai El Melech Gadol B'Tishbachot El HaOdaot Adonai Niflaot HaBocher B'Shirei Zimra Melech El Chei Olamim. Praised are you, sovereign of wonders, crowned in adoration, delighting in song, eternal majesty. Page 224, the Chasi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadal Shemei Rabbah B'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kari v'meru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'al ne'elmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'meru. Amen. On page 226, we prepare for the call to worship. And when you think about this, this call to worship, that really you have to allow God to penetrate your heart. And sometimes we think about, as I spoke about this a little bit last night, that in Judaism, it's difficult, it's not easy to say, Rabbi, what's so difficult? And we got all kinds of barriers. The Hebrew language isn't easy. We have some things here, we just did some Aramaic. And now we're transitioning into Hebrew, biblical Hebrew, the Torah portion, the Haftorah portion, the service. And so sometimes you can say it's up here, maybe in the mind, how to have this kind of relationship with it, with the text or with our history or with Judaism in general. But also this idea allows us now to penetrate the heart, this call to worship, to allow God in. And that's what we're doing right now. Traditionally, we rise in spirit, and we prepare for God's presence. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. And now we're going to continue on page 228 with Or Chadash, a beautiful light.
Or Chadash Shal Tzion Ta'ir V'nizkeh Chulanu Mehera Le'oro. Or Chadash Shal Tzion Ta'ir V'nizkeh Chulanu Mehera Le'oro. Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot.
You know, when you think about light, it's so important, and you can be that light. You know, I almost want to sing like This Little Light of Mine. You know, do you want to sing This Little Light of Mine?
I like Or Chadash.
Or Chadash. So you have to be a light. And let's continue on page 231. Let's read this in English. Love your neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. And light blinded, we saw that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke, and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, we fell back and climbed again. Your Sinai of life. Baruch Ata Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava. That God chose us with love. And now on page 232, we close our eyes. We bring the fringes to our eyes as we focus and meditate on the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And now belachash, in a quiet undertone, Baruch Shem. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. On page 234, V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvchol nafshecha uvchol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue on the top of page 236. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית. על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונענו על ציצית. הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית. וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. You know, it's such a blessing, you know, just to share with you that we have the little ones with us here, because when you think about this blessing, it actually talks about a specific mitzvah. And what is that mitzvah? It is Vishinantam Levanecha. And, you know, when you think about what that means, Vishinantam Levanecha, it actually means that we are like teaching or going over the blessings with these. And we say with these, our little ones, our children. Because our children, really when you think about Judaism, that's what we understand as life is having immortality. You know, that the idea is that one day, you know, the Rebbetzin and I are blessed to be here, you know, and to lead the service and for me to be the spiritual leader. But one day, you know, little Nava and Ziva are going to be reciting the Shema and the V'ahavta. And so that's what we're doing right now. V'shinantam levanecha. We are teaching them to follow God's ways. Our service now continues with Micha Mocha on page 240. Is everybody ready for Micha Mocha?
We are all ready.
We're all ready. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Shira chadasha shibchu geulim לשמך על צבאת הים, יחד כולם הודו וימליכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדך נאומך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. Baruch atah Adonai, Gaal Yisrael. Gaal Yisrael, that God is the Redeemer of Israel. On page 242, we rise in spirit as now we recite the Amidah, the standing prayer, the Tefillah. Adonai, sefatitach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מערום, כך כתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. You know, on page 250, it's such a blessing because here with Vishamru, it's this idea, Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael et Shabbat. So, we have our little ones here, and but here we think about, children. And that's how we, all of us, are referred to as B'nai Yisrael. Here, maybe even know like congregations. That's kind of like one of the names. We think about Temple Beth David or Temple Beth Shalom, or congregation B'nai Yisrael. These are kind of like famous names for synagogues. And why? Here, children of Israel, David are kind of this united monarchy that united Israel the upper kingdom and the lower kingdom and Jerusalem. And so all of these names, and so think about it, it's so important. When we think about Vishamru, it's all about Shabbat and doing Shabbat, and that it's an eternal covenant. And that's the words, Brit. Brit means covenant, okay? So it's a Brit Olam, an eternal covenant. Are you ready for page 250 with Vishamru?
Of course.
Let's do it together. We all know it. On the count of three. Echat, shtayim, shalosh. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam.
And Rabbi speaks a lot about what it means to la'asot et ha-Shabbat. And everyone's Shabbat practice looks a little different. And Shabbat in our household is just a really special time and something that we look forward to having, our girls more active in and taking ownership of as they grow up. But share with us, what Shabbat looks like in your home. Please, use the chat or reach out to Rabbi, or if you have questions on, how to make your home more, have more of that Shabbat spirit. We're here.
Shabbat friendly. Yeah. Let us, if you need, lighting Shabbat candles or challah or, maybe even some good music, Shabbat music, where's a good place? Here we have people here that take nature walks. Maybe we say, Rabbi, you know what? I enjoy listening to the service or watching the service on YouTube, but what's a good place to take a nice, relaxing, here in Yiddish we say, wir gehen spazieren, we're going to go take a walk. So you need a place to go take a Shabbat walk. Or, a good Shabbos shluff. You can say, Rabbi, I found the greatest pillow. Rabbi, I got this incredible pillow. I take a nap on it. And I jokingly say that, but not really.
The Shabbos shluff is serious.
It's like a serious thing, so it's
might have a nice hammock.
A nice hammock, a Shabbat nap, or, I know a good place, or I've got a good book. All of these things are, and we're not really joking because they're a part of our tradition, which means to take a nap, to rest, to relax. If you're learning on Shabbat, traditionally, Shabbat afternoon, in a traditional community or any community really, people are learning Pirkei Avot, which is kind of this ethics about how to be a more ethical person. And so all of these things, and the Rebbitzins about, a hammock or to rest or to relax or a certain food that you have only on Shabbat. So again, use the chat function here. We have, our streaming specialists, both of them. So let us know how you elevate the Sabbath. On page 260, we have Oseh Shalom, because again, as Jewish people, we're always concerned with, our major concern is peace. Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol Yoshei Tevel. Amen.
So now we're going to get to the Torah portion. So on page 362 is our Torah service. But I just want to share with you this Torah portion comes, again, on the name of it is Titzaveh, to instruct, to teach, to command. And I just want to read briefly what this is about. Okay, so let's understand it. Ordain your brother Aaron and his sons Nadav, Avihu, Eliezer, and Itamar from among the Israelites. So now this is really, when you think about, I want to share this with you because here in Judaism, who are our leaders? You know, when you think about it, it's interesting because when you say who are our leaders, always, you know, in Judaism before we had Moses, and this is, when you think about, so we had Moses, and we had prophets, we had all kinds of leadership, and kings here. And then, you know, down to what we call today, really, who are the Jewish leaders, if you will. Yes, I know we have the, you know, CEOs of, you know, the Federation and the Jewish Community Center and all types of organizations.
And individual presidents.
And individual presidents of all kinds of shuls and boards. And maybe those are kind of really, quote unquote, those that are in charge. But also we have this idea of the rabbi. Okay, so what is a rabbi? And the origin of what is a rabbi is this week's Torah portion. So it's kind of being invested, or this idea of smicha. And the first people were really the sons of Aaron the Cohen. So ordain, here, your brother Aaron and his sons. And this is here, Hashem talking to Moses. And so Hashem is saying, ordain your brother to Moses, your brother Aaron and his sons Nadav, Avihu, Eliezer, and Itamar from among the Israelites, and bring them close to you so that Aaron and his sons can serve me as priests, as Kohanim. So again, it's all about serving God. Make sacred garments that will add dignity and honor for your brother Aaron. Find talented weavers and tailors to make Aaron's garments. These special garments will be used to ordain Aaron and make them a priest to serve me. Make Aaron and the children. And so when you think about, you know, this idea, I just want to share with you, you know, being a rabbi, or having this idea of being called to be a rabbi, and it's such a blessing because, again, it's something that we do all the time, you know, and I'm so honored, you know, just to share with you in our travels, when we were traveling around, and, you know, you know, my yarmulke, they go, oh, what are you wearing, or what are you doing, or even one time I was, and they said, oh, you know, someone said, oh, you know, I was walking near them, and oh, that person's Jewish, and I overheard someone in the area said, how do you know? And I had, you know, tzitzit, you know, kind of hanging down underneath my shirt, and they go, oh, I know these things. So the ritual garments, the vestments, things that we do. If you have any questions about, you know, why we wear these things, it's important. You know, the idea of even a yarmulke. So, you know, this here, and this is, here, it's not, this is, you're never going to hear or see a yarmulke written in the Torah. You know, it's not there. You know, you're going to say, where are the vestments? You know, Rabbi, why do we wear a yarmulke? You know, and so just to share with you that the yarmulke, the source, the origin, is not in the Torah. Now, what is in the Torah, though, is the talit and the four-cornered garment. That, the origin of that is in the Torah. So,
and Rabbi, not only that, but the yarmulke itself, depending on what community you come from, what part of the globe you come from, it's going to look different. It's not always going to look, you know, like this, you know, smaller kind of, you know, head covering.
That's right. It could be larger. It could be a cap. It could be a lot bigger.
You see on Friday nights, our chazan wears a special type of head covering. So if you have any questions about head coverings or just ritual garments that we wear as part of the Jewish faith, please let us know. It's funny, when we were in Arizona visiting with some friends, the daughter, who's around about 6 years old, she's asked Rabbi, she's like, are you Jewish? Because he was wearing a baseball cap, and he lifted up his baseball cap to reveal his yarmulke, and she's like, oh, you are.
Right.
So not that we need these items to, you know, prove whether we're Jewish or not, but they just help us self-identify and keep us aware of, you know, our Jewish heritage, and of the presence of God in our lives, and it's something to think about. And if you don't wear them now, if you want to maybe begin the practice of wearing them on Shabbat or at certain times or holidays through the year, if you have a question on doing it in an authentic way, let Rabbi know, and he's here to guide you through that process.
For sure. And, again, this week's Torah portion is all about, the breastplate, the ephod, robes. But I want to share, when we open up the Holy Ark, which we're going to do shortly, and we're going to bring out the Torah, what we take from this week's Torah portion is that's how we dress up the Torahs. So when you say, why is the Torah, why do we spend, so much time and effort with the breastplate, with the robe, with the belt, the gartel, with the crowns, the keter, all of these things? Because in this week's Torah portion, that's how we understand the vestments that we're putting on our leaders. And so now in Judaism, it's very decentralized, but what's the one thing that brings us together? The one thing that's the same in every single Jewish community, wherever you go. What is it?
Our Torah.
Our Torah. That's what it is. It's the one thing that's the exact same. It doesn't matter where you travel to. Who knows, in a few hundred years, we'll have a Jewish community on Mars. It will be incredible. You have to go and visit. It's going to be special. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if anyone knows what it's going to look like, but I can guarantee you what's going to be the same? The Torah. It's going to be the same Torah. So we talk about making the robe and ordaining Aaron and the sons, the sacrifices, the atonement. These are things that we no longer do today. So how do we understand the sacrifices? With prayer. So again, the word itself for prayer is actually avodah, which means to work, to physically work. And that's how we understand prayer. So we're no longer concerned with these sacrifices. You just say, what are we talking about? And God forbid, animals, and we love animals. And so it's not about, sacrificing animals. It's about sacrificing the heart in prayer. On page 362, we continue with our Torah service. We're going to bring out the Sefer Torah and prepare for our service for healing. Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai v'ein kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor vador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom Av harachamim heitiva v'rtzoncha et Zion Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki v'cha levad batachnu Melech Elam v'nisa Adon olamim. Please rise in spirit and our body as we open the ark and remove. And look how beautiful this is. So this is incredible. They're standing up and they are ready to come out and bless us with their presence. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlul Adonai Iti Unramama Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagivura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki chov Hashamayim u'va'aretz Ki chov Hashamayim u'va'aretz Lecha Adonai Hamamlecha V'minaseh lechol erosh. Our holy Sefer Torah is with us, and in this week's Haftorah, Yechezkel, Ezekiel, we speak about redemption. And when we think about redemption, it's not about one person, it's about all of us. And that's what I want to share with you just briefly, that when you think about yourself, and I hope that you're doing well, and maybe you're in need of prayer, but again, we are a community, just as we mentioned earlier, B'nai Yisrael, children of Israel, and at this time is our Misha Berach, our service for healing, for prayers to heal all those that are in need of a prayer of healing. And what does that mean, a prayer of healing? We say refuah nefesh, for the soul, for the body, for the mind, for the spirit. So at this time, please share with us all of those, your loved ones, your friends, your community, people you know and people that you don't know, that you've yet to start a relationship with, that they're in need of healing. Please share with us their names.
Hermina and Alex Levy, Jerry and Ray Roberts, Stuart Freitas, Donna Pedigo, Jessica Sanders Brownlee, Kenny Atkins, Morris and Felice Friedman, Irma Schiller, Linda Ely, Jerry and Margot Hunt, Irene Namer, Don St. Clair, Sam Namer, Debbie Dreyer, Robin Sal, Debbie and Daryl Bernard, Lauren Wright, Dorothy Johnson, Bonnie Darnowski, Bill Wolf, Martine Rudolph and family, Danielle Strumer.
Rebbetzin.
Linda Cox, Lenore Jacobson, Lou Jutzi.
Let us pray for everyone that is in need of a refuah shlema. Let us now, on page 371, recite the Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Let us now say a prayer.
One moment, Rabbi.
Doreen Martin, Robert Whitlock, Barbara Whitlock, Terry Hurst, Danielle Strumer, Stanley Wilson, Marianne Roan.
May they all experience a refuah
shlema. And now we have a prayer for our country on page 376. Let us recite this prayer together for our country. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Make sure we have to make sure that we read these things and these prayers, and we're so blessed here at Temple Beth David. We have our social action committee, and we're taking donations. This is our third food drive, and I want to say, how long does it last? Till Passover. So please come and drop off non-perishable or dry goods or items that we can donate to our neighbors in need. And now we return the Holy Sefer Torah on page 374. Yehallelu et Shem Adonai, ki nishgab shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren li'amo, tehila lechol chasidav, lifnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem, Torati al tazovu, eitz chaim hi, lema'aseh דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם. We turn to page 586. We continue to be elevated in body and or spirit for Aleinu, the second paragraph on 586. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liyotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרום בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, מתחת אין עוד. We continue with page 591. Let's read the top in English. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved, each of us, for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. And now we turn to page 598, where we begin our mourners service, our Kaddish Yatom. And when we think about our mourners, again, please, that all of us, again, that we are in mourning together, that in Judaism we have ways, a yortzeit, to commemorate those that are gone. So physically, people here, life is finite. People leave this world and go to the world to come, but we always remember them. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts. And now let us remember all of those individuals. So this past year, as we think about all those that are no longer with us, Marcia Manishin, Elsie Eagle, Amelia Gress, Daniel Jacob Horowitz, Joel Kellner, Richard Eggers, Zelda Abbas, Ned Isaacs, Vicki Morton, Bob Molnar, Dr. Jim Bartling, Maurice Goldstein, Joanne Sexton, Patrick Myers, George Kirchhoff, Martha Young, Donald Woodruff, Mickey McKinney, Dr. Norman Freed, Pedro Martinez, Helen Brudner, Gary Peck. And we commemorate the Yortzites, Bertha Aspler Weissman, Edith Silver, Judy Copsey, Bella Rappaport, Beatrice Darnowski, Henya Friedberger. And if you please share with us, if anyone is commemorating, if you're in Shiva, Shloshim, commemorating a Yortzeit, share with us the name of someone that has recently passed. And we say, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. We rise together in solidarity with all the mourners, all those that are in need of comfort and love, and we recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. And now we have a psalm, a hymn of glory. So at this time, please join us. Rebbitzin, what hymn are we going to do? Ziva wants to join us for some singing. So what one are we going to sing with? What about Ein Kelohenu or Adon Olam? What do we think?
We will do
Yigdal?
Yigdal.
Yigdal, page 628.
It's been a while since we did Yigdal.
Yeah, so this one, it is, if you don't know Yigdal, then, you got to learn Yigdal. So let us know, type in the chat function. This is something we're not familiar with, and not only in Judaism, just to share with you that, I always, even the sociologists say that we're creatures of habit. So you might say, I only do Ein Kelohenu, or I only do Adon Olam. Who says you can't learn another one? No one. So let us know in the chat function, let us know if you missed Adon Olam. The beautiful thing is we're here every week. So if you don't like this week, that's okay. There's also next week. Are you ready for Yigdal? Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach. נמצא בעינת אל מציאותו, אחד מעין יחיד כי ייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו. אין לו דמות הגוף ואין לו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו. קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשי לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו. שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את תמונתו. תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו. סופר ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו. גומר לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרישתו. ישלח לקץ ימין פדות עולם, כל חי וישקיר ישועתו. חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו. חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom from the Rebbitzin. Shabbat Shalom
from Nava.
Shabbat Shalom
from
Ziva. Shabbat Shalom from our family to you and your family.
And we are all one big family.
And now we have some announcements from our incredible president, Judy Kern.
Please join Steve Darnowski following services on Zoom for the Shabbat Shmooze. As Rabbi Jesse said, the Social Action Committee is sponsoring the food drive through Passover. The barrel is out on the porch. Please drop by and drop non-perishables off. The Board of Trustees meeting for March will be on Wednesday. And that link to Zoom and all other Zoom links are on our new website. If you log in, underneath the tab with the calendar and the newsletter, you will see all the Zoom links. And I'll put in a plug, log into the website and look at your account and correct anything that needs to be corrected and let us know what you think.
Thank you very much. And tonight we have Havdalah on
Havdalah,
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live. Also, we just we're coming up to the most celebrated Jewish holiday. What is it?
Pesach!
Pesach, Passover. So please look at you got emails coming out. Our president had this incredible idea. I said, wow, it's amazing. Absolutely, we have to do something. I can't even tell you what it is yet, but you'll see it in the email. So you got to check the emails. We're going to be celebrating Pesach. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. Remember, how many days of Pesach? 2 Sedarim. We have first night and second night.
But there's many more days to the...
Ooh, that's true. 2 Seders. But we're going to be doing something very special. Check your email. Please join now, Steve, for the Shabbos Shmooze.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom!